The New York Giants took quarterback Jaxson Dart with the hopes to be their franchise quarterback, but there are three things that Jaxson Dart needs to do before he's able to be a successful starting quarterback in the NFL, so let's get into it. Going over here, the Jaxson Dart's keys to starting for the New York Giants. First of all, he has to learn how to read NFL concepts. At Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, their genius offensive minded head coach, he called plays that were very easy to read for Jaxson Dart, usually featuring only one or two reads, as opposed to the full field NFL reads that he will have to be reading in the NFL. Let's take a look at this play here. Jaxson Dart is just going to look left and throw this slant route, but it actually is even easier if we take a look at the film. So at the bottom of the screen, we have two offensive players. One guy's just going to run a streak to clear out the zone, and they're just going to run that slant route right behind it. We can take a look at it one more time. Jaxson Dart, all he has to do is look, is that slant route open? Yes, no, and throw it. Very easy read for him right there. Now, we have another similar play where it's only one read for our quarterback, Jaxson Dart here. Again, two receivers to the top of the screen. Our guy in the slot here, our tight end, is pretty much blocking as we have our deeper wide receiver, our outside wide receiver. I believe that's Trey Harris, is going to go on a curl route. And again, there's only one thing to read for Jaxson Dart. We are dependent on this outside cornerback dropping back and getting depth here. Fortunately for Ole Miss on this play and for Jaxson Dart, the Georgia defense is in a cover 3, so that outside cornerback is going to be in a deep third. He's going to get back, and they're going to have more of their other guys. They have their cover 3 set up over here, which means this outside defender here is going to be the flat defender. And that's where, you may remember, our slot guy comes in and he's going to block off that guy. And it's going to make this read really, really, really easy on Jaxson Dart. Now we have another example of this. Another play. This time there's going to be two reads. So we're leveling up big time. Jaxson Dart, all he has to do is look, is that the first curl open? Or if not, I'm going to throw the streak. If the curl's open, you throw the curl. So here's what it's going to look like. It's cover 1 man. So these defenders are in man coverage. 24, we got to pay attention to him. He's a first round pick on defense. So their deep safety, he's in that deep cover 1. Then we got man up in front of it. Here's what the offensive guys are going to do. We're going to have the point of our wide bunch here is going to be on a curl route, while our outermost wide receiver is going to be on a streak. All Jaxson Dart has to do is look at the curl. Is he open? Yes, no. If yes, throw the curl. If no, throw it over the top. Take your chance with that streak route to your most outside wide receiver. So now, just curls covered, throw the out route. Now, I know a lot of Giants fans, I'm sure, will be watching this. This guy catching this right here, number 3, his name is Antwane Wells, undrafted free agent, picked up by the New York Giants. What the Ole Miss did on this play to make this work out really well, they disguise it to make it look like they're running what's called a slant flat concept, where the most outside wide receiver is going to be running a slant route, and then your slot wide receiver will be running a flat route, and it's to make the defenders bump into each other and hopefully make a mistake. But that's what it looks like. That's not actually what the play is. What this play actually is Antwane Wells is going to fake the flat route. He's going to come out here to his right and then get up the field quick. The one problem with this play is the man lined up right across from him. I'm going to circle him right now. Yes, he is a safety. But like I said before, this safety is a special case. This guy, number 24 for the Georgia Bulldogs, is Malachi Starks, the first overall pick of the Baltimore Ravens. The best safety, or maybe you want to call Caleb Downs the best safety in college football last year. Malachi Starks is easily number 1 or 2. This is a great play. This is something that should have Giants fans very excited. Now, I know I'm talking a whole lot about the offensive coordinator and how smart the offensive play calling is, but this is one of the smartest things I've ever seen. It's a screen pass, and the wide receiver running the screen is not even going to move. So what we have is we have motion from Caden Prescore in the tight end. He's going to move. He's going to come in motion and move up and get a block on the cornerback directly on top of Trey Harris. And Trey Harris, circling right here, going to play the play again, doesn't even move, and that causes the cornerback not to react. This is such a smart play. Lane Kiffin really, really, really knows what he is doing. Now, you might have thought that that was impressive, but what if I told you wide receiver screens are possible even when there is no blocker? This play is even crazier. It's the same thing. All Trey Harris does is stay completely still, and the cornerback does not move at all. It's absolutely insane. Ole Miss knows that he has a deeper zone, so all they're going to do is say, don't move, stay right here. It's a one-on-one, but with this scheme and with this smart play calling, this is crazy. But the point here in terms of Jaxson Dart is the reads are made very, very, very easy for him by his head coach, Lane Kiffin. Let's go back to our whiteboard to figure out the second thing that he has to do really well to become the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. That's going to be learn to throw with anticipation. Throwing with anticipation is throwing the ball right before your guy's going to be open instead of waiting for him to be open and then throwing the ball to him. This matters because in the NFL, the windows are really, really small. Everyone's faster. Yes, your offensive guys are faster and better, but the defense is a lot faster, and that's where the change is in the college game. So Jaxson Dart is going to need to learn to throw with anticipation. Here we have a throw right here. It's going to be a completion, but I want to see him throw it with more anticipation. Let me explain myself here. So first, Georgia's playing a too high safety defense, which tells me as the quarterback, we are going to be facing cover 2 or cover 4 or some sort of variation of that. But right now we're going to hope that it's cover 2 where we know the middle of the field is where we want to attack, where I just circled. And fortunately for us, we have a play designed ready to attack that. So what we're going to do is our slot wide receiver is going to be on a go route to clear out the zone, get rid of that deep safety, Dan Jackson. Our outermost wide receiver is going to be on a curl to occupy the cornerback. And then we're going to send another wide receiver right across the middle to be open against, if it's a cover 2, he's going to be wide open. The problem that I have with Jaxson Dart throwing this a tiny bit late is in the NFL, the windows are not going to be that open. You just got to throw it a little bit early. Now we have a play here, an example of better anticipation from Jaxson Dart. It's going to be another similar play with too high with a pass over the middle, but I want to highlight when Jaxson Dart throws this pass instead of when he threw the first one. So like I said, we're going to have cover 2 again. Both of our safeties are going to be deep for Georgia, and we're going to have another similar play call underneath. We want to hit in between those two safeties. That's where one of the biggest holes in cover 2 is. We have our two guys at the top of the screen. Again, our guy at the point of the stack will be running a go route to clear out the zone, and our outermost wide receiver will be running another slant route, in route, whatever you want to call it. But what I am going to pause right here is exactly when Jaxson Dart, right here, he's tapping the ball to start to throw it. And you can see, you can't even see the defender on the wide receiver he's throwing to because he is right on his hip. He is so close to him right now that he doesn't know for sure that he's going to be open. But the fact that he is throwing the ball even when the guy's not open because he is confident that he will get open, that's what you need to do more in the NFL. He has a lot of plays on film where he does not throw with enough anticipation and he waits to watch guys get open. That isn't going to work in the NFL, and he's going to have to become a better processor to be a very good NFL quarterback. Now, this next play here is pretty much a microcosm of all 3 things that he does incorrectly that we're going to break down this video. So what he does is he snaps the ball, and I'm actually going to run that back. He snaps the ball, and the first thing he does is he looks at his wide receiver on the right side of the field. The number one thing you need to be doing when you are an NFL quarterback is reading the defense pre-snap. But Jaxson Dart, his offense is not an NFL style offense, so he does not read defenses the way he needs to learn how to read defenses. The way NFL quarterbacks read defenses is they look at the safeties and they determine pre-snap whether it's man or zone, and they determine which type of coverage are we in. And then as soon as the ball is snapped, NFL quarterbacks look at the safeties to confirm their read. They want to make sure that if they were showing too high before the snap, they want to make sure they're not rotating into a single high coverage, and they want to make sure that whatever they read pre-snap, they need to make sure that it is correct. But if Jaxson Dart snaps the ball and immediately looks at a wide receiver, he can't determine if his read was right or not. And guess what? his read wasn't right or not because he didn't make a read. Because anyone who is making a read pre-snap is going to make sure that they confirm it. And what happens further on this play is it's cover 2. We got a guy wide open over the middle, and the pass is a little bit late. And because it's late, we have to put it in another spot where it's kind of safer for the guy, and it makes it a much more difficult catch than it should be. So breaking down what we have on this play, both of our safeties are going to be deep. It's a cover 2 again. So we have corners are going to be in flat zones, 3 linebackers over the middle of the football field in hook zones over here. And then what we are doing offensively to break this down, we are going to have, well, first of all, so cover 2, we want to hit either that hole shot or we want to hit in between those safeties. But what we're doing offensively, fortunately, we do have the player, the wide receiver that I've circled right now. He's going right into that in between the safety zone, exactly where we want to attack if we're facing a cover 2 defense. Let me erase the defense so I can draw out our offense here. What we're going to have, the plays coming from the left side. That's where the strength of our formation is here. We're going to have a post route just right up the middle of the field from this guy I have circled. And then we have a curl route from our other wide receiver. The point of the curl route to the top of the screen is to pull down all those linebackers that I highlighted over the middle of the field. And the idea is if they jump up on that curl route, then you can throw it over the head to the other wide receiver. And then we're going to have another, on the outside, we have another just a curl flat concept where the wide receiver is going to run a curl, and then you want the linebacker to pick either the wide receiver or that running back swing route, and you throw it to the other guy. We don't have to read that on this play because it's not going to matter because we have other guys open. But Jaxson Dart, on this play, he's got to get this ball out faster, and he has to actually read his defense. So that's going to bring us into our third point here, which is going to be, he's got to learn to read NFL defenses faster. Jaxson Dart, you can see he does do some reading, but he's just a tick slow. One of the reasons why he was drafted in the 20s in the first round and not at the top of the first round. Usually, when you got a guy like that you love, teams want to draft him as highly as possible. The New York Giants only selected him at 25, not higher. A lot of people are comparing Jaxson Dart to Bo Nix. That makes a lot of sense. Jaxson Dart is a player who has good athleticism, but it's not elite, just like Bo Nix. He has good arm strength, but it's not elite, just like Bo Nix. His offense is a college offense, doesn't work in the NFL, just like Bo Nix. So he's going to need a very smart offensive play caller. We're going to see if Brian Daboll is going to be that guy who can turn Jaxson Dart into the successful quarterback that he can be. He did it with Josh Allen. If you're a Giants fan, you're looking for the Bo Nix route. That's what you were going for. Let's keep going through the plays that we have here. So in terms of he has to read the defense faster, here we have pretty much, it's just going to be a sluggo route from the bottom of the field. So a sluggo route is a slant go. So this guy down here at the bottom, he is going to fake the slant route and then on a go route. Georgia still in that too high safety look that they love to run. Our route down here, we have at the top of the screen, we're going to have a fade route and a slant route. But what's more importantly is that sluggo to the bottom of the screen. So he fakes a slant and then he's going to go on the go route. The problem with Jaxson Dart here is we spend way too much time staring down the sluggo route. We can see that that's not open immediately. He's got to do it. But remember how I said he's got some athleticism? I love this play. He shakes off one defender, moves up, and then makes a smart lateral play. I mean, he knows what he is doing even when the play starts to break down. So when we are dropping back as a quarterback, we want to make sure we stay on our line, which means you want to make sure when you drop back, you want to drop back straight. And then when the pressure comes, you want to make sure you are stepping up in the pocket straight. This is because if you are staying on this line, all the offensive linemen know exactly where you are at any given point in the play. And they know A, where to protect you, and B, they know that they don't have to hold the other guys. That's why when you see players like Lamar Jackson or Jaden Daniels, quarterbacks who scramble a lot and get outside the pocket a lot, sometimes linemen lose where they are and they'll have to hold the defender so they don't get a free shot on that quarterback. But Jaxson Dart moving up and down perfectly on that line, and that's exactly what you're looking for. Now our final play here is going to be showcasing the arm strength of Jaxson Dart. Yes, this isn't an extremely far throw, and it's a little bit hard to see on the film, but I want to explain why this showcases his arm strength. Usually, a lot of quarterbacks would throw a rainbow pass that looks like this, but not Jaxson Dart. Jaxson Dart, because he has a higher velocity on his passes, he's able to throw a much lower pass that makes it to the target, A, faster, and B, before the defense is able to react to it. You can always tell a quarterback has special arm talent when they can throw the ball deep down the field, and when you're watching the broadcast, it doesn't leave the screen. That's how you know you got a quarterback who has some good arm talent. Trevor Lawrence was fantastic at it. He could throw a lot farther without the football leaving the screen, but Trevor Lawrence was obviously a better prospect going into the draft instead of Jaxson Dart. But if you're a Giants fan, Jaxson Dart has got a lot of potential, but you have to make sure that he's able to overcome the three things that I mentioned. He's got to learn how to read NFL concepts, has to learn how to throw with anticipation, got to learn how to read defenses faster. All this stuff is cognitive. It's all stuff that is teachable. Fortunately, it's not like if you had drafted Shedeur Sanders, I would have had to say stuff like he needs more arm strength, and it's stuff. There are other players. If you don't have elite traits, the problems are you can't be taught to have elite traits. So you can't be taught to have the arm strength of Jaxson Dart. You can't be taught to have the athleticism that he has. So the Giants have a clump of clay that is moldable, but they're going to have the right offensive coordinator and the right play calling to mold this player. But that's what I got for today. So if you enjoyed the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new, and have a great day.